Debbie Meyer is just one of those innovative women, you know, who has been able to create and based off of need. What you're looking at here, yes, it's another customer pick. I know I sound like a broken record, but this is a sponge. And I know you're saying, okay, Tam, seriously, you made me wait up. You made me stay up for a sponge. Yes, and you're gonna be glad that you did, because these are not just any sponges. These are the Debbie Meyer Genius Sponges. On one side, they have your nice soft sponge material, like what you're normally used to. On the other side, it's more of a scrubby kind of material, so when you really need to kind of get in and get something cleaned, you can do that. You are getting a set of 12 of them. Let me put that right side up. A set of 12 of them. But what makes these different and has made these a customer pick with over 500 five-star reviews on them is that these sponges inhibit the growth of bacteria and mold on the sponge itself. Okay, I'm gonna say that again. They inhibit the growth of bacteria and mold on the sponge itself. So you can use this, and that's what's so different about this versus a regular sponge. Regular sponges, that's why they smell bad. That's why when you use your sponge, and if you just kind of let it sit there, even when it's dry, it smells bad. This one won't do that. All you do is when you're done using this, either washing dishes or wiping down the counters or whatever you use your sponge to do, rinse it clean, wash it and rinse it clean, make sure it's clean, squeeze it out, let it dry. Inhibits the growth of bacteria and mold in the sponge, which means you're gonna be able to use this over and over, and you're gonna be able to use it with confidence, knowing that you're not spreading bacteria around. We've got some of the customer reviews kind of scrolling in the bottom of the screen, the best of the best on a sponge. And that's because it's not just your basic sponge. It really does something that other sponges don't do. They will remain soft. They have the scrubber on the back, which is great, and that scrubber is made of natural elements. But in the construction of the sponge, it's the construction of the sponge that inhibits the growth of mold and bacteria. That's why these sponges differ from your traditional cellulose sponges. It's in the science of the sponge and the construction of the sponge. The scrubber is gonna be one that you use when you're cleaning up your dishes, your pans. The foods release easily from the sponge because remember, traditional cellulose sponges, the food sticks to them. And when that food sticks, you can't get it off, and then it just sits there, and that's where the mold and the bacteria come in. But what you're gonna do with the Debbie Meyer Genius Sponges is you're gonna use them like a regular sponge. You're gonna wash your dishes, wash your plates and your glasses and your forks and your knives. You're gonna rinse it clean. Make sure it rinses clean. Squeeze it out and then let it sit. And it dries. And when it dries, that in itself, the fact that it's not made of traditional cellulose, the fact that in the construction of the sponge, it inhibits the growth of mold and bacteria, means you're going to use this sponge with confidence. I will tell you, I never thought about sponges. It's one of those kind of things that you just don't think about, right? You're just like, okay, well, a sponge is a sponge. I'll use it for a little while and I'll throw it away and then I'll use a new one and I'll keep doing that over and over and over. And on one side, maybe sponges aren't that expensive. Okay, you can throw them away and use them over and over. On the other side of it, if you're using a traditional sponge, it's not about the cost that you pay, it's about the bacteria and the mold that you're spreading because you cannot get them clean because they do not inhibit growth of mold and bacteria the way that these do, simply by the nature of the construction of this sponge. So when I had a chance to present these with Debbie Meyer herself, and she was talking about these sponges in a way that I had never heard about another sponge, I got them. These are the ones that I use. And I notice a difference. They do not smell on my countertop. At this point, I've never thrown one away yet. I've been using it for a while now and I haven't thrown it away. It doesn't smell, it doesn't degrade, it doesn't kind of fall apart in your hand. It feels good. These are thicker than traditional sponges. They are a little bit more ergonomic in the way that they're shaped because traditional sponges are just usually a rectangle and they're really thin. These are thicker. They're fluffier, they have this great curve, so in your hand, when you hold on to them, this curve, it fits just like the curve of your hand, so they're easier to use. You've got the softest on one side, you've got the scrub on the other, and look at how thick that is. And knowing that these are gonna be something that I don't have to worry about mold and bacteria, just makes it more of a comfortable thing to use when I'm cleaning up around my kitchen, even when I'm using these in other rooms in the house to get those other rooms clean. You're getting 12 of these on a price break, because typically these were closer to $30. And I would even understand, with as great as they are, if at the regular price you would think, oh, I'm not really sure, they're almost $30. I'm not really sure about spending that much for sponges, even if they are good. Well, today, they're $18.95. They're free shipping and handling. They're also on FlexPay today, so only $9.48 to get the entire bag of 12 of them home. And the fact that sponges are customer picks, I mean, that means a lot. Like I say, these are the kind of things that we don't really think about. Sponges aren't like a sexy thing to buy. It's fun to buy like new lipstick and new shoes and a new handbag. That's all fun, right? Sponges are things we don't think about. But when you've got something that is this genius, and it truly is, and on a price break and free shipping, it pays to go ahead and get them. We will have a full presentation of these coming